name's Paul, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Talking Timepieces, where we talk about watch collecting and horology. Today we're going to play with straps and bands and bracelets and take a look at how changing the straps can really change the look and feel of a watch. We'll take a few pieces out of the collection and play with them under all kinds of different watch band circumstances, let's say that. But please subscribe. It really helps, and I'd really appreciate it. Thanks. Let's flip the camera around and get started. Let's have some fun with straps. We're going to start and end with the Speedmaster. The current, I shouldn't say new, this is a old-fashioned Hesselite. I like this version. I did promise it to someone. He wants to buy it off of me, and the only reason I'm willing to sell this is because I have this. It's not a Man on the Moon Speedmaster, but it is an interesting enough variant that I can give this one up and still feel that I've got a Speedmaster, and B, a very interesting one at that. The interesting thing about these two watches, as I said, this is a strap monster and can pretty much take any strap that's 20 millimeters, regardless of color, regardless of texture. Well, a lot of that's because of the beautiful, clean symmetry of the no-date black and white face. The Rolex Explorer 2 is another watch like that. The regular Rolex Explorer is a watch like that. Very clean, black and white, very symmetrical faces, crushes straps. Now, this one is obviously very funky, very 70s, very retro future, kind of like a mirror panda. And this has the Accutron tuning fork movement in it. And yeah, just a really funky representation, obviously designed for the bracelet, or I should say the bracelet was designed to fit this case. This Accutron-based Speed Sonic was refinished. This specific one was redone by the Accutron doctor in Japan. That's why it looks so awesome. And the bracelet is in such good shape because it was just redone by a fantastic artisan. Now, let's put this down for now. Like I said, we're going to start with, and this is a perfect example of how hard it is to change bracelets on a watch that has a very factory-specific bracelet, but you can even do it with a watch like this through the magic of NATO straps. Now, some would argue that a NATO strap is not up to a task of a, luxury watch or a eccentric advanced design watch like this, but hey, James Bond wore an undersized NATO in Dr. No, and nobody gave him crap for that. So, once upon a time, the watch was important, and this strap band or bracelet was an accessory, obviously dating from pocket watches, watch leading the strap. But, of course, once you start hitting your stride in the 60s and 70s and integrated bracelet designs and Gerald Genta, you find a lot of watches with either A, integrated bracelets, or B, bracelets that are integrated looking. They've been conformed to fit the watch. And so a lot of people expect that. Now, before I go on with this, let's just talk a little bit about watch band styles. Now, this is what they call a Milanese. It's a flat metal link bracelet. And because of the nature of the metal links, it's difficult to get a conformal edge unless you made it a solid end link, which would then take away from the look of the Milanese. So it's quite acceptable for a Milanese to be non-conformal. In fact, the brand new Omega Seamaster James Bond has a Milanese strap with a straight end link. So Milanese is one of the few exceptions to the rule of trying to make the metal strap look like part of the watch. Now, a watch like this, like I said, you can actually change its look completely by putting on a NATO strap or a leather. In this case, a leather wouldn't really work because of the nature of the case, and you'll see when I take this off about the lugs. And interestingly enough, the pin bar, right, is on the inside pressing against the inner lips of this shell, holding it in place. So before I take it off, I will do a wrist shot, and which gives me an argument to talk about this. This is the Mont Blanc Geosphere, and one of the things about Mont Blanc is not only have they, oh, by the way, I'm using a temporary tattoo of this website's QR code. If I really like it, I'll make it permanent, and probably enlarge it. But the Mont Blanc Geosphere is a perfect example of style when it comes to the strap, the watch band, because if you notice, it's got a gradient on the leather. Mont Blanc selected this leather specifically to match the gradient on the face. This is one of the few watches I haven't changed the strap on because it's such a harmonious match. There's nothing I could put on here that could do it a better justice, unless I wanted to give the strap a break, and then I would probably go with a NATO, like something like that. You know what? Let's do that. But not right now, because I said I was going to start with the, where is it? I'm going to start with this one, but let's take this off for now. Beautiful deployant, by the way. And the nice thing about this deployant, and I'll match it up against this on the Zenith, which is a very similar deployant. The Zenith is superior in the sense that it's got a very interesting double locking mechanism for the hole in the leather to keep putting stress on it. And this has got also a nice retention because it comes down through the top, which is also a common way in some of the higher end deployants. But this also has a micro adjustment. You can actually do a micro adjustment on, there we are. You can do a micro adjustment on the buckle itself, which you cannot do with the Zenith, as gorgeous as this Zenith is. But I'm also going to use the Zenith to show how you can change the character of a watch, because this looks so gorgeous with the, I believe it's crocodile, it could be alligator, but some exotic lizard. To change the look of this from a dress to a more casual daily just by changing the watch band. So let's put these down and let's throw this on real quick so you can just see what it looks like on the wrist with the factory bracelet. You see, it actually sits nicely. It's just really in your face with that band. That bracelet just draws your eye. It's just emphasizes the height of the watch. And I mean, it's not that tall a watch if you think about it. Let's do a quick thickness measurement. Oops, turn it on would help. There we go. And it's 15 and change. No, it's 15, almost exactly. It's a little less. All right. So there are a lot of watches that are thicker than this, but don't look it. And of course, obviously, it's because of the shape of the case. So now, to spare you all of the hassle, we'll use the modern magic of editing to remove the bracelet. So, wow, these are lugs only a mother could love. But the nice thing about lugs like this is, as ugly as they are, they don't add to the case of the watch. So since you take off the bracelet, the fact that these lugs are so diminutive and so ugly, I mean, they're just lugs. Look it up in the dictionary, you'll see a picture of these when it comes to lugs. That's all you can say about them. However, once you throw on, like, say, a NATO strap, you could change its character. And not all NATO straps are alike. I've got two different NATO straps here, for example, of the quote-unquote James Bond variety. I say quote-unquote because if you ever look at Dr. No, he's not actually wearing a gray and black NATO, he's wearing a gray and black and green and a little bit of red in it. I mean, it's hard to tell exactly the colors, but this has been determined to be the NATO bond color. Now, one of these is a generic company I just picked up through Amazon, and the other is a Bark and Jack strap. Pitch out to Adrian. And you see the Bark and Jack's got a nice buckle, got the logo, the keepers are nice. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this strap, but you can see the difference in the cloth quality. Ironically, I like the color better. I like the grayer gray in this cheaper strap. But frankly, they both have their utility because the smoothness of the one and the roughness of the other texture can also be used to leverage the look of a watch. And also, this is nice with the movable keeper. I like that too. So the Bark and Jack wins for quality and style, and the cheap one wins for, I just like the gray. So let's throw each on, for example, and just show you what something like that could make a difference just on the same watch, right? Two different styles of NATO on the same watch. So here we have this, right? Put it on the wrist. I'm not going to bother securing it too tightly. Just put it on there. There we go. And so, bang, now it looks like an Omega Speedmaster 3. You know, it's still a little bulbous, it's still a little big. I mean, it still looks tall, but the strap isn't carrying your eye along the arm and going, oh my God, where did that come from? Now it just looks like, a variant of the Speedy on a NATO. You see, it doesn't look nearly as bulky or blocky. And that just changed the total look of the watch just by putting it on a NATO. All right, so let's do that real quick. Put the Bark and Jack on it just to see what I'm saying about texture. I'm not going to bother putting it back on my wrist, but I did want you to see how that looks. Because in this case, for example, the darker gray works better because the mirror is so bright. The grays are and the blacks are there, so this makes it look more gray than brighter mirrorish, because of course the brighter gray would tend to have your eye make that look lighter. So the darker gray helps here to help your eye integrate that look better. And again, that's beautiful, smooth seatbelt, like high-end seatbelt, like quality of the strap does suit the watch well. Now, let's move along to try to keep this at a reasonable length, and let's grab this one. Now, this JLC Polaris is both one of my favorites and one of my biggest pains in the butt, because I do like having fun with straps, and it wouldn't hurt to have a metal strap for this, but the way JLC designs this, not only is it an unorthodox width at 21 millimeters, it's also incredibly short and tight lugs, which help it a great deal with the way it looks on the wrist. Let's just throw it on the wrist. And by the way, it took me forever to find a blue leather band to go with this. This came on a brown leather strap, which is why I want the metal bracelet. And it took me forever to find a nice, I'm not going to worry about that for now, to find a nice strap to complement the watch. And that's why it's so important to find a nice strap, because a good strap can make or break a watch. It really can. I mean, a watch of this caliber, you could pretty much put it on anything, but because of the fact that this is a blue watch, if you put it on something that doesn't quite color coordinate or doesn't color coordinate with the rest of your clothes, I don't have any brown leather, it can make for a bad match, right? So in this case, let's just throw it on this, all right? I'm not going to go through I'll just do the editing thing. Now, I didn't put the other side through yet because I wanted to show you I'm using curved pin bars here, spring bars here, because if I used straight spring bars, I wouldn't even be able to get this thin NATO strap in between the spring bar and the case. That's how tight the fit is. So I had to get curved spring bars in order to do it. But look at that difference. Bang. Now this looks like the sports watch that they keep trying to sell it to you as. My biggest ding after the lugs is the fact that this damn bezel knob is just too easy to turn. On the diver, it's locked. They should have locked this one, or at least made it screw down. A simple screw down would have solved all kinds of problems. But then again, this isn't screw down either, so then that would just they'd both have to be screw down, and then that would tack on another at retail probably another $1,000 to the price of the watch. So I'll take this one. But as you see, with the NATO on it, and this one's also a nice glossy NATO. I forget whose this one's, no logo on it. But it does also, again, change the character of the watch, change the presentation of the watch. I mean, I will do it on this because I want you to see how nice it looks like that. Let's do a tuck. Boom, boom. And now bang. Look at that. Right? Now you walk into a bar and anybody sees that, they know you're a watch guy, because nobody is going to put $5,000 worth of watch on a NATO strap unless they are very confident in their watch game. And I am. But then again, like I said, there are people who, one Daytona, well, you could buy all 6 of these watches, right? So it all depends on what your tastes and your collection lies. But I think this looks awesome on the NATO, and I actually wear this on the NATO on a relatively regular occasion. I do have the factory deployant buckle. I put it on this dark leather strap for when I want to, wear it with a suit. So again, having different straps gives you a fantastic amount of choice in how you deploy your watch, right? So now let's move onward and upward, and let's grab this one. Okay, now this is another example of how you could change the character of a watch completely by the strap. I liked that one that I had gotten for the JLC so much, I went ahead and I got it also for this Omega, because there are blue highlights all through this because of the blue text and the heat blued hands that you can only catch at certain angles. Now, this is my pretty much daily wear strap for this, but you know what? Let's give you a quick look at that. Isn't that pretty? Pretty piece. All right. So let's put this, for example, on a Milanese. Now, see, that totally changes the character of the watch. I mean, look at that. Now you're ready for that fancy garden party, looking sharp. Oh, let me get that in there. There we go. Good enough for now. I'll fiddle with that. It's hard to see it through the camera. But look at that. See? Very nice. Sits well, plays with the light nicely. And like I said, it changes the character of the watch completely. Now, some would say, well, what about a suit? Yes, you could wear this with a suit, but shouldn't you really have leather on something as nice as this? And I'm saying, yeah, actually, you're completely right. And there you go. Now, this is the factory Alligator strap from Omega on the factory deployant buckle. And again, completely changes the character of the watch. You see? Boom. You wear this, you can wear this with any suit. Gorgeous, elegant. And then back to fun. See? Changing the strap can completely change the character of a watch. So in defense of, say, for example, a Rolex Explorer, you could buy yourself a Rolex Explorer and a pocket full of straps, and you've got a different watch for every day of the week. So that's what I would say to anyone who's a big one-watch collection fan. I'd say more power to you, but the straps will give you a phenomenal variety in your choices. All right, so speaking of that, right, so here we go. This is a watch that would normally be thought of as a dress type watch. This is the Fredrik Constant World Timer, and it's very, very heavily homaging the Patek Philippe, although the Patek Philippe's got small seconds instead of the date here, and it's got a guilloche dial as opposed to this, I don't know what to call, but the sculpted map, as it were. I have a video on this. This is a fantastic watch for both daily wear and dress. See, in the NATO strap, total sports watch. Let's throw this on. Da-da-da-da. Oh, come on. The fumbling about of a man. So, and let's do the tuck on this one as well to show how it really does, look on a NATO. Boom. This is a daily wear sporty watch now that'll tell you the time anywhere on the planet. See? Talk about a garden party watch. You wear this, and your friends who are rocking, tags or Tudors or whatever, they'll look at this and they'll go, hey, that's a pretty cool looking piece. And then you go, oh, but I have a dinner party later. So, see? Again, change the strap, change the look. All right. And by the way, if anyone's curious, when you're putting a strap on a watch, a watch depends from the buckle. And in its original meaning, the word depends means hangs on, hangs from. So buckle, a watch depends from the buckle. The buckle end always goes in the top set of lugs. And that's how you know what direction you're properly facing with your watch. In the case of a deployant that appears to be connected on both ends, the end that it plugs into is the non-buckle end. The end that it is secured on is the buckle end. So let's move on before we turn this into a 5-hour-long show. And here is a Breitling Navitimer Gmt. It's on this very impressive looking Milanese. And again, really bulks up the watch, makes it look very imposing in certain senses. Because some people look at a Milanese as a sporty bracelet, and some people look at a Milanese as a luxury bracelet. It all depends on your point of view, I guess. In this case, I would say this is more of a sporty bracelet because this is more of a sporty watch. But then I guess you could say that you're dressing up the watch with the bracelet. But again, you could go to a leather strap. In this case, I got this on the leather strap, which is why I used a Milanese, because of course Breitling offers quite a few metal straps, but I didn't feel like dropping several hundred to more than $1,000, depending on the style of bracelet I wanted. And the Milanese is a beautiful style that's accepted everywhere, and you can get a Milanese strap for about $50. But let's see what it looks like on the leather. So again, completely changes the character of the watch. Now this has the Breitling buckle. This isn't a factory Breitling strap, but I had the strap replaced with as close to a factory look as possible for the leather strap so I could keep the buckle. But again, completely different versus the Milanese presentation. And again, looks completely different if you throw it on a NATO strap. And again, completely different piece. You know, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I mean, just look. And if you're worried about a big watch dominating your wrist, a NATO is a perfect way to go because it's the thinnest strap you're going to get. So you could put something pretty big on your wrist, and that way, even if the lugs just barely come up to the edge of your wrist, the NATO makes it manageable. Just a nice way to go. And last but not least, like I said, we're going to end with the Speedmaster, the strap monster, the strap king. And of course, it looks great on the factory metal bracelet. But what if we did put it on a NATO? And there you have it again. You see? It's a whole different watch. Different presentation. And see, and that's a great argument for how the Speedmaster can also be your daily wear. One watch collection. Well, arguably it's the coolest watch made until someone else saves 3 astronauts in an entire NASA mission. Speedmaster's got bragging rights over even the cosmonaut, the only Rolex that ever went to the moon went as a passenger. But the Speedmaster is just a fantastic piece. But then someone would say, wait a second, Speedmaster's not a dress watch. It could get by today because people let you slide with a metal bracelet sporty watch. But, you know, I want to really dress nice tonight. Well, the reason I got that black leather Omega strap is I had flown to America wearing a Speedmaster on NATO, and I forgot my watch case at home. So this was the only watch I had for the entire trip. So I went to the Omega boutique and I picked up that black leather bracelet. I mean, black leather alligator leather strap for this watch specifically, actually. And of course, since it's a 20 millimeter Omega, I put it on my other Omegas as a matter of course, but I originally got it for this one. And again, the watch transforms. Now it's just a killer dress watch. And that looks sharp as hell on that Alligator. Beautiful, beautiful watch. And proof again that the Speedmaster is the award winner when it comes to strap crushing. Beautiful watch. But I'm not just talking about the Speedmaster. All of these are beautiful watches, and playing with straps can really change up your collection and really extend the look and feel of your entire collection. So let's turn the camera around and close out the episode. So that was playing with straps, bands, and bracelets. I hope that it opened your eyes a little bit, or at least gave you some conversational matter or something to think about, because you can really expand the scope of your collection just by playing around with your watch bands and bracelets and such. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and please subscribe. It really does, really helps.